work in a job and are desperate for their side hustle to become their career. It's one thing to do free work, it's another thing to do free work with heavy strategy. When I do free work, I try to think of two things. How much exposure is it? Like Tyler will tell you, he's sitting right here, one of the only times I still do free work is if it's massive exposure. There are 49,000 people in the audience. I'm like, it's still a lot of exposure. Like it's live on, it's during the Super, like I'll pay somebody to put me in a Super Bowl commercial, right? Like when I get exposure, and that's where I'm at now, for you, when you pick these 5 restaurants, let it be the biggest restaurants in your 30-mile radius. Let it be the kindest. Let it be somebody who has the biggest Instagram following, and maybe like whether you never want to give with expectation, but it's okay to ask. You're like, hey, I'd love to sharpen your knives for free, and then like you get in there and the vibes are feeling good. Maybe you're like, hey, listen, like I hope you enjoyed it. Like, wouldn't mind to take a picture for my Instagram, which then makes them say, oh, we'll put you on our Instagram. Like you can be thoughtful and do it the right way, but if nothing else, if you do it for free for 5 people, you've established that you do it. Word of mouth is a remarkably fascinating thing.
How to always think rich with Garyvee. Do free work with heavy strategy. How much exposure will you get? Word of mouth is a remarkable thing and a good business strategy. There was no marketing strategy in his first business. He needed to make every penny work like a dollar. Day trade attention became his first strategy. It means you don't overspend on something that has been proven. You need to find angles and find what's underpriced. Garyvee believes you can't slow down winners. Everybody does things differently. Don't suppress or be petty with other winners.
I can do business on this thing, and over the next year, I went headfirst and learned about eBay, learned about what was going on in Amazon, started learning the early internet culture, and in 1996, I launched WineLibrary.com, one of the first 2 e-commerce wine businesses in America. From 1998 to 2003, in a 5-year window, I grew my dad's business from a $3 to a $60 million business on very, very important terms that matter to this entire room. I had no money. It was a $3 million business that had 10% gross profit, $300,000 before expenses. There was no marketing budget. What I needed is to make every penny work like a dollar. So the strategy became day trading attention. When you day trade attention, my friends, here's what you do. You don't overspend on what everybody believes is tried and true. Every single company in this gorgeous conference right now is grossly overspending money on things that they've been doing for the last decade because it's the things that they accept, or the reporting justifies it, or they're just lazy to try something new. Everyone. And so what you do when you day trade attention is you have to find angles. What's underpriced? I think everybody does it differently. For me, if we're competing in that market, it's not that I'm gonna look at what you're doing. Like I'm not the kind of person that will look at what you're doing, appreciate it, and try to add that to my game, which I think a lot of people do well in sports and business. My thing is that I'm so focused on what I'm doing, and I'm making assumptions that you're gonna do great too, and that there's so much abundance. Do I want to lose a pitch to you for Nike Southeast Asia? Absolutely not. Do I think that there's 95% of other people that stink, and if somebody's good, they deserve to win business? I absolutely do. I think it's very bad business to suppress or be petty with other winners. I watch people do it with me all the time, and I laugh. I'm like, your keyboard hate is not gonna stop my growth. It's super common. I would argue keyboard hate fuels my growth. I grew up very poor. I lived in a studio apartment with 8 family members. So I've got grit, right? Like I'm not scared to work. I think one of the biggest problems right now is we're living through one of the great generations of fake entrepreneurship because so many people were able to raise money. And so you just have people that are not supposed to be running businesses because there was so much capital for the last 7 or 8 years. And that's interesting for me to watch, though the stuff is starting to hit the fan, so that will play itself out. I was a hustler. I know stuff, I know. I was a hustler from the get. I was lemonade stand, baseball cards, all that stuff. So I was really a salesperson through and through. When I was 12, I was making $2,000 to $3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards in the malls of New Jersey. And I don't know about you guys, but when you have $30,000 in cash under your bed and you're 14 years old and you're not selling weed, you're doing a good job.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content.